Hey y'all, I am late recording this and posting this, but you don't know any different. So today is my fake weekly vlog. Okay, so today is the 25th, I think. It's Sunday. And last week was pretty uneventful. Yesterday, one of the reasons why I didn't get this recorded on Saturday, which is what I like to do, is because we drove out to Buffalo. So I live in Rochester, and actually we drove all the way to Niagara, which is about an hour and 20 minutes to the mall out there because I have a Disney store. So we get the Christmas ornaments or a couple of Christmas ornaments every year, especially the Donald Duck or any of the ducks or Huey, Louie, and Dewey. We always get those. And then I also got a poisoned apple one for this year. A lot of them were super cute, but they're 20 bucks a piece or something like that. So you have to kind of pick and choose what you're going to buy every year. So we did that. And then in Buffalo, we stopped by Grover's Bar and Grill because they have this awesome cheeseburger soup. So sometimes when we go to Buffalo or to Niagara, it's on a Sunday or Monday and Grover's is closed. So every time we go, I get very antsy about whether or not it's going to be a day that Grover's is open. So it was open yesterday. They're trying to do social distancing and sanitizing and all that stuff. You know, you have to wear masks while you're in the restaurant unless you're sitting down, all those kinds of things. But it was a little bit crowded, and it's probably not a great place to go if you are someone who is really needing to social distance or really immunocompromised or things like that. But if you are somewhere around average, then you might check it out, or you might wait until we're not in the middle of a global pandemic. Either of those options is fine. But I would definitely recommend the burger. It's humongous, and the wings were really good. And I think I posted pictures. Oh, I probably posted them in my stories. So no pictures for you. But that's what we were doing yesterday instead of me recording my weekly wrap up. We've also been watching some classic Disney. We were going to do the every night a horror movie thing. And I think we just weren't jiving on the horror movies as much this year. You know, there are plenty of horrible things going around. We've been doing more spoopy rather than spooky. So tonight we watched The Sword and the Stone. And we started with Trick or Treat, which is a short that's got Donald Duck and the boys in it, and a witch is helping Donald be more generous with his Halloween candy. So that made me remember Madame Mim from Sword in the Stone, and so then we watched Sword in the Stone. Before that, my daughter came over, my oldest daughter who doesn't live here, and she helped to put together the rest of the little tiny books that I needed put together for the little library in my card catalog. So hopefully the next time you see into that little hole, it will be full of books instead of looking like a pitiful abandoned library. While she was doing that, I think if you remember that I showed you guys some of the cigar boxes that I got. I had one of the Queen Bee ones, and the outside reminds me of a little golden book. It actually says handmade, 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 but the pattern kind of reminded me of that. So I am painting the front to look like the little pokey puppy. So I'm not done with it yet, but this is where I'm at. He doesn't have any eyeballs yet. But I think it's coming along okay. You know, there's a part with any painting project for me because I'm really not an artist. And I'm not sure I can see it yet, you know, because I'm kind of putting the layers down. So it looks like I would know what this is, even if I didn't finish. So that's always good. I might finish it tonight. I might not. Who knows? But I'm excited about that. That's what the inside looks like. Just I will probably leave the cigar information on the inside. I love cigar boxes. I have a lot more. My older daughter works at a place that sells cigars, so they sell their boxes when they're empty for $2, which is a really good deal for a wooden box, especially if you're just going to paint them. So I have several of these, and then I have several of these, which I also really love. And I got another awesome one from her last weekend. I love the colors on this one. So probably just going to be trinket boxes or gift boxes or something. But I'm excited about those. She also got, this is one. Check this out. Whoa, nice, right? Yeah. It's a Fat Bottom Betty cigar. All right. So the book I read was The Saturday Night Ghost Club. So this book, I really liked it, but it was not at all what I thought. So reading the back, you hear about this 12-year-old boy and this summer, his kind of this coming of age summer. And so I was thinking it was going to be middle grade or something like that. But it's really more like, what's that movie? Stephen King wrote it, and the boys, I think River Phoenix was in it, and a bunch of people that came up to be famous, and they went to find a dead body. It's really more like that. So that book was narrated by an older man who's kind of looking back on his life. So the older man narrating this in this book is, regular middle-aged dude who is a neurosurgeon. And so he's talking intermittently about kind of what's happening with him right now as a neurosurgeon and some of his experiences with kind of doing surgery in people's brains. And this year, when he was 12 years old and he was fat and didn't have any friends, he was bullied and kind of felt really loserish from, I think it must have been 7th grade maybe. And his dad used to be a real fighter, like a scrapper with all of his brothers. And he's kind of mellowed out, but he's kind of disappointed in this kind of doughy, bookish son. And then our main character, what is his name? Jake. He has an uncle, his maternal uncle works at owns a curiosity shop called the Occultarium in Niagara over on the Canada side. And he spends time with his uncle that summer going around to different places around Niagara that have myths, legends, so urban legends. So they'll go to a place and Uncle Calvin will tell the story of something that happened there. And at the same time, he meets a boy named Billy, Yellowbird, and Billy's sister Dove. So they're native and live close by. Mom is a nurse or something like that. Anyway, they all become friends this summer, and they're spending time finding the ghost stories of the town. The way that they meet Billy is that he comes into the occultarium because his grandmother has died, and he wants to figure out a way to make sure that her spirit is at rest because they've moved from the lake that they used to live at, and now they live here, and he's not sure that she can kind of find her final resting place. So Billy and Jake become friends. Dove is the sister. She's 14, and she has her own problems. She's restless and she's medicated, and there's all of this sort of stuff about being a 12-year-old boy and noticing girls for the first time. And then there's all of this overlap between Jake being an adult male who learns a lot about the brain and living as a remembering as a 12-year-old boy all the stuff he learned about his Uncle Calvin and his parents and all of that stuff that summer. So it wasn't a middle grade. It was not a middle grade book. It would be fine for a middle grader to read, but I don't think that the target audience is 12-year-olds. I love this quote at the beginning. Memory is another word for story, and nothing is more unreliable. So it's all about, some of the themes throughout the book are about memory and what we remember and how we construct our stories and who knows about those stories and kind of how sometimes the stories we have for our own selves don't really go with what other people know, and we sometimes confabulate things. So I really liked it. The Saturday Night Ghost Club by Craig Davidson. I think there's a bit of, not autobiography, but he's a Canadian author. There are some things that he knows about in here. I don't think that he's a neurosurgeon, but maybe he is. I don't know. But like reading a little bit about him online, it seems that there's a bit of, overlap between his life or his 12-year-old summer and Jake's 12-year-old summer. Would recommend. All right, so my next book for this week, my last book of Readers Imbibing Peril for October, or October whatever-a-thon we're doing, is going to be Kiss of the Spider Woman. I don't know if this fits the Readers Imbibing Peril 15 challenge or not. It just seems like it would because it's called Kiss of the Spider Woman. The book is about two men who are in prison. One, they're in an Argentine prison. One is a window dresser, homosexual, sentenced to 8 years for corruption of minors. And the other one is a Marxist student held without trial for 3 years for inciting disturbances at an auto factory. And they become friends while in prison. And then the officials try to use one against the other. So there's nothing in that actually that makes it sound spooky at all. So maybe it won't fit the challenge, but I'm going to read it next. And if I read it fast, because I believe that the last day of the month is over the weekend, because the 2nd is a Monday, I think, I might be able to read this one and another small book. I do have several smaller novels, all of which need to be headed back to the library pretty quickly. And then maybe at least one either middle grade or children's book that needs to be back. So I might be able to get through this one and one more, which would be great because it would end me at an even number in Goodreads for the month, which I like. Okay. What else is happening in my life? Probably nothing. A lot. The same old, same old. So I'll catch you in the next one.